Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, into the sidebar, I have created one of the menu and I name it as the employee registration, right? So that is our employee registration menu. Into the web route, I have created one of the controller as the employee registration controller, and that is our name. I put one of the URL, and here I have created one of the method as the employee view method. So into the employee registration controller, I have created one of the employee view method, and into the method area, I just take one of the variable, and from to the user, I will put one of the condition. I only want to get all that our user type, which will be as an employee. Okay, and then I get all the data and return view one of the page. So that is our employee view page. I have already created this page. Into the backend, I have created one of the employee folder. Into the employee folder, that is another folder as the employee registration, and that is our employee view, right? So now first of all, I want to design this page. So that will be just like one of the simple I want to do. If you go to that setup, into the setup, if you go to the designation, so from to the designation, I want to copy everything. Okay, that means designation view page. I think you already know about it. That the data table is also added on here. Now we copy it, and now in our employee view here, I paste it. Okay. So right now I want to actually customize it as per our demand. So that will be as a designation list. So right now I want to change it, that I will be as a employee list, right? Employee list. And then also there is a button as add employee. I make it as add employee list or add employee registration, whatever you actually choose. Okay, so right now there is our for each. Into the for each, I have already passed the same name as all data in our employee view. So right now that is our for each. Into the for each, that is all data, and I just key name it as a employee. Okay, name it as an employee. So whatever the things actually you choose, you can choose that name on here. You can also use it as a value. So right now it's okay. I name it as an employee. So now with this employee, I want to display that name, and then also ID for the edit or the update. So that will be also needed. Okay, so I simply updated both of these. So now if you click as a save all, so right now I don't have any data. So right now it should be as actually empty. Right now I want to check it. Click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see there is another menu is added as employee management. Into the employee management, our first menu is employee registration. Now if you click as employee registration, it should be loaded our view page, right? You can see that is our employee list page, and that is our add employee. And right now there is only one field as a name and then action. Okay, so I want to actually update this part. Here I want to visible some of the field. If you go to our user, into the user table, there is our structure. So some of the field I want to actually get this data from here, and I want to visible it. So if you want to do that work better, that is our th. That means our table head will be as a serial number, obviously, and there is a name. I want to visible some of the field. So better I want to paste it. Okay, I want to display that name. I want to display that employee ID number. That means the ID number. Okay, so that will be display ID number. I want to display that mobile. I want to display mobile, and then whatever the field actually you choose, because some of the field will be very common for every user. For the employee, that is the name. I want to insert that mobile. You can use that address, you can use that gender. So right now I also want to use that gender. ID number I have already added. That is a joining date. Okay, you can also use the joining date, designation ID, everything you actually choose it. There is a salary. So right now I want to add another one. So that is a mobile. I want to add that gender. I want to add another field that will be as a joining date. Okay, or join date. Okay, I make it as a join date. Another field I name it as a salary. Okay, I want to display the salary, and then also here we will create another code which we have already done for the student. So automatically it will be created one of the code password. So also I want to display this code. Okay, I want to display this code. And for the code, as I told you before, I have already done this type of part of the work. So right now it is not needed. So into the code area, only that authenticated user, which user is admin, only admin able to access this field. Okay, that means this field only admin will be able to access. So here, if you want to do that work, I think you already remembered that part. I only put one of the if condition, and in the if condition area, I put with the auth. right? So with this auth user, that means authenticated user, which user is logged in. So that will be as a that will be as a user. So this authenticated user, which user is will be as a role. Okay, role will be as equal what equal. If you go to our user, into the user table, they have also one of the field as a role, you can see. So for the role, that will be actually different type of role. That will be as an admin role, that will be as a computer operator, that means operator role, and that is another one will be as a employee. So I have already put this type of one of the role authentication. So I want to do with this user, that means authenticated user, which user is logging. So this user role, when it will be as a admin, only admin able to access this this head. Okay, that means the th head. So I want to put it, that is the authenticated user role, when it will be as a admin, then it will be visible, and rather than it will be not visible. Okay, so I make it as and if. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend, because we did the same things before, and now that is our all that field as a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and then 8 and then 9, right? So now better that is our 3. I have to add multiple field 4 5 6 7 8 9, right? So that is actually 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and then another td as a 9. Perfect. So first of all, I want to do to display that name. Name will be with this employee. That will be our database field name. If you go to here, you can see our database field name as a name. That means this username will be visible. And after that, there is the ID number. So for the ID number, there have also another field as the ID number. So right now I want to access this ID number. So that with this employee, I want to access this ID number, right, friend? And then the mobile. So our mobile field name as a mobile, I copy it. That will be as a mobile, and then the gender. So that will be the gender field. I copy it. So that will be as a gender field, and then the joining date and the salary. So for the joining date, our field name as a join date, I copy it. So with the salary, our employee, I want to display that join date and then the salary, right? So that will be our salary field. I copy it, and that will be our salary field. And after that, that is actually a code. As a code here, also I have to add this same condition. So after this, I put that condition, and also and that means this td will be visible when this role will be as a admin, right? I think you already know about that part. So that is our code field. You can see that is our code field. I copy it, so that will be our code. Okay, with this employee, I want to access this code field. Perfect. So friend, that's all I want to do right now on here. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you go there, now click as a not right now, we don't need this. I click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see every field is now perfectly added. There is a serial number, name, old ID, that means our ID number will be visible, mobile number, gender, joining date, salary, code. So as I told you, where right now I'm already logging as an admin. For the reasons it's actually visible this td, rather than it will be not visible. Okay, and then that is our action. Perfect. So right now our database is totally empty, right? So here I didn't insert any employee data, because of all, if you go to that browse, you can see there is an admin user, there is a student, some of the user type, but right now they have no type for the employee. So friend, I want to insert the data. So if you want to insert this employee data, there is also another option I have added, another button as a add employee. So into the add employee area, I want to load another form for insert all that this data, that means the employee data, right? So that is actually our button. So that is in our view page, into the view page, and here you can see that is our add employee button. So now I want to create one of the URL. I want to create one of the URL that will be as a employee.registration. Okay, employee.registration, and then add. Okay, so now that will be our route. So that will be our route. I copy it, and now go to our web route. Into the web route, better I copy another one. That will be our also that will be as a get method, and here. Okay, here I want to use it the name. Our route will be as an employee in registration add. I copied, that will be as an employee registration add, right? And our URL will be as a registration employee add, and then in our employee login registration controller, I want to create one of the method that will be as a employee add. So this type of one of the method I want to create. So now I copy it and now go to our employee registration controller. Now go there, and after this I name it as a public, and then function, and then our method. So that is our method, right? So here I want to load one of the page. So if you want to load this page, that will be same, and better I copy it. Okay, I copy it. I copy this part. Now click on paste it. So that will be into the backend, into the employee folder, in our employee registration folder. I want to create another page for the employee. That means the employee add. Okay. So this type of one of the page I want to create. I copy it and now go to our employee registration folder. I want to create one of the new file. Now click as a save as. Okay, click as a save as, and now that will be as a employee add.blade.php. Okay, so into the employee blade also here, as I told you before, friend, here I want to load all that our designation. I have already created some of the designation. If you go to our student management, into the student management, you can see there is our all the designation. So when we insert that employee, so here I also want to load all that our designation for this employee. Okay, so that will be needed. See here, if you want to pass it, I think you already remembered that part. We did this lot of the time. When you actually add any functionalities, then if you want to load some of the designation, here also you have to get all the data from our designation table, right? So now I want to use it. So for the reasons here you can see I have already added that model as a designation. So now with this designation model, we can actually get all that our data. So if you want to do that work, I take one of the data, and then I name it as a, whatever the name you actually choose, I name it as a designation right now. Okay, I name it as a designation variable, and then with our designation model, and with this designation model, I want to get all the data. Okay, I want to get all the data from our designation table, because I have already created one of the table. If you go there, if you go to our total database, you can see how much interconnected every part. So you can see there is a designation. So into the from to the designation table, I want to get all the data. For the reasons, I just simply add that code. So I take one of the variable as a designation, and then with our designation model, and also I have used that designation, and with this designation I get all that our data, and I pass this data in our this employee add page. Okay, because into the employee add page I want to create one of the select from, and to the select from area I want to load all the designation. So I take it with this our data array, and here I pass it. That means right now we can able to access all that our designation data in our employee add page, right? So that is our employee add page. So now we have to design our this employee add page, and into the employee add page that will be also a lot of the information. That means a lot of the field will be needed. Okay, better I want to continue this process. Okay, I click the save all. I want to continue this process. In our next video, I will design our this employee add page. Okay, how can do that work? In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.